Going into part 2 of how to influence your opponent in the team preview, win the team preview, and then get them to lead with the Pokemon that we want them to lead with, and then dumpstering those Pokemon turn 1 into an early game advantage. You can see we're using a Choice Scarf Crobat, we're using Eternatus Dialga with Grim. Very, very cool stuff. The way this team works is it baits your opponent into leading with like Zacians, and then once they lead Zacian and don't see fake out users, even though there's a plethora of them in the team, they think they're completely safe. And then what we do if we lead Crobat Dialga is we pop a Choice Scarf Tailwind to outspeed the Zacian, which allows Dialga to outspeed the Zacian, and then you just one-shot the Zacian with the Max Quake, get a Speed F boost, and their biggest piece is now gone. So it's a really, really cool team. So we're going to hop into a bunch of replays that I have, and I'm going to break the replays down turn by turn and talk about my thought process in the team preview and how I can correctly influence my opponent throughout the course of the game. So like I said, part 2, we're going to take a look at more replays, and we're starting things off. Everyone wanted to see what Meowth brings to the table, and Meowth is a really, really cool mon because it's great versus Sun. Remember, it's the fastest, unique, unnerved Pokemon that gets Fake Out. Obviously, you could put like a Alolan Persian there, or Persian or something like that, or not Alolan Persian, but regular Persian. But I do think that Meowth is just a little bit better just because it does have the access to that big G-Max ability, and it can help us tunnel people a little bit more in the team preview. Like if this was a Persian here, people might like over respect our reliance on Fake Out and lead with other things and go with a lot more defensive options than we really want them to. We want to think that they can just lead with stuff and be a bully. So Meowth kind of plays into that. So in this game, you're gonna see that I like move around my leads and stuff like that. I probably should have just led Eternatus Meowth because you can Fake Out either of their restricteds and go for a Meteor Beam onto the Zard, but then you're stuck in a position on turn 2 where you have like no speed control. So I decided to go with I think I went Crobat Eternatus this game with the potential to switch in the Meowth if they lead with because they didn't have a Fake Out user. If they were to lead with something that I needed a pin, right? Yeah, I switch in the Meowth if they lose Zard. Sorry. So we're gonna see this. This guy actually plays this one really, really well. I'm surprised this guy was this good at scouting what we were doing here. So Torkoal Zard, that's an amazing lead, I think, too. So Eternatus Crobat, and we have the potential to go big fast, but they have the potential to hit super, super hard. I wonder how telegraphed Meteor Beam Eternatus realistically is. Let's think about that. How telegraphed would you say this lead is? I wouldn't say that this is telegraphed at all. The Meteor Beam aspect of it. And so we just switch them out. And remember, every Zard you have to assume is Charty, right? So if you're Charty and I'm Meteor Beam, you still probably would just live it, right? So that's why it's I wonder why they play so defensive, and you're going to see that they do play very, very defensive in this first game. They're taking a long time, too. And it's not like I'm streaming. That's the thing. I can't use the... Oh, man, what if they're in the stream? What if they're sniping? What if they have the info? It's no, there's no way that they would have seen this one coming. So, Meowth switches in. Remember, the Unnerve activates, and it makes it so they can't use their damage-reducing berries. So, if you're Charizard, and I'm clicking that big Meteor Beam busted from a Pokemon who has a higher base speed than your Charizard's going to be taking the biggest L. Yes, I'm ignoring your Torkoal for a turn, but that's fine. This is also a bit of a win-win here, though. I guess I'll spoil it. The Zard max guards this turn, which I think is a good play to max guard to block the Meteor Beam. But realistically, you're gonna take Solar Power Chip, and I still get my +1. That's one thing I really, really like about Meteor Beam is it gives me that +1 that makes me a big threat for the remainder of the game. After watching your stream last night, I was baiting Zacian, Caloric Shadow with Giratina and Scarf Zorak. That's exactly what I want you guys to do. That's awesome. That's sick. I love that. Good job. That's what you need to be doing. They burn our Meowth. Literally never lucky Meowth out here. Off a Heat Wave. Poor Meowth. Hanging on it. Literally, that's a +2 HP. So we can just go for a Dynamax Cannon. Now remember, Dynamax Cannon, this is a reason deliberately that we're using an Eternatus in this team. And we might as well just go for the Fake Out. Might as well just go for the Fake Out into the Torkoal just so we don't have to eat a Yawn into our Eternatus or something. The fact that they showed Heat Wave here showed me they might have Yawn or something. And we want to scout for leftovers, and if we can confirm leftovers on Torkoal, then we can confirm that their moveset's something like Yawn, Earth Power, Protect, and probably sorry, Yawn, Protect, Heat Wave, and probably Earth Power. So we just go for the big Dynamax cannon. Like, we're at +1. We're also using a modest Eternatus, which I don't think a lot of people calc for. I like the modest one because you can get away with stuff like that. That's a lot of damage. Whenever you're trying to also calc for how much damage Dynamax Cannon or Behemoth Blade would do, just think about when you're hitting a Dynamax Pokemon, would that KO them if they weren't Dynamaxed? That's the easiest way to do it. That's the easiest way to do it. That just solve your calcs. Because it basically just does double damage, so since you double all your HP and stuff like that, you know, it basically just calcs the same way. But, yeah, we got the +1 from the Meteor Beam, so obviously we would have still KO'd. So we get a free switch because the burn ticks out into... I'm trying to remember what we send out. Do we send out Crobat? Oh my gosh, I'm so good at Pokemon. Yep. Professional Pokemon player. That's +1. Ain't messing around right now. So you're going to get the boost. And then from here, there's a couple different things we can do. We can go for the Dynamax Cannon on the Torkoal and ignore the Zacian, because I don't know if the Zacian actually KOs our Eternatus in this situation. I think Adamant Zacian would KO our Eternatus. But you can see I'm thinking about doing like 4 or 5 other things. And we just go for the Tailwind because it would allow our Mons in the back to work too. I can't believe that Zacian didn't protect. Realistically, why didn't you protect your Zacian? This is the most obvious Tailwind. But then I guess, like, looking back at it, realistically, I want to talk about this. I should have just hit the Zacian. This is the mistake that I see a lot of people make. This is a mistake I see a lot of people make. And I just made this mistake, by the way. So when you're sitting in this situation and the Zacian comes out and you send out the Crobat, right? That Zacian thinks like, cool, I can just hit the Eternatus and then, you know, what's Crobat going to do? Best case scenario, they get up Tailwind for themselves. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I just made the mistake of assuming my opponent knows my set because I know my set, right? For example, this guy has no idea that we're Scarfed, so like he shouldn't feel the need to protect. It's just like our first turn of the game. It's just a lot later. So realistically, I should have just went like Tailwind, hit the Zacian with Flamethrower, +1 special attack off the Sun, would have definitely KO'd the guy. And, you know, I was thinking he's probably going to protect. I can kill him. But he doesn't know I'm Scarfed, so he doesn't know we should be afraid. And I see people make that mistake all the time. They think that, like, people, like, over-respect what their sets do, when in reality, like, there's no actual tell that they should know your set yet. And so the reason why I thought that was because, you know, we've played, like, 5 turns of the game already, it feels like, and... you know, I just kind of assumed they knew, but like in reality, looking back, I switched Crobat out turn 1. There's no way that they knew. So, it's my bad. Misplay here. Definite misplay in my opinion. Should have just went Tailwind and Flamethrower the Zacian, because what's Torkoal going to do? I'm happy to get the Torkoal off the board, but in reality, like, it sucks if I lose my Eternatus, which I think I do lose the Eternatus this turn. I'm pretty... oh, I don't even get the Torkoal off the board. Wow, never lucky me. Yeah, I think I lose Eternatus, though. And I think it has to be Adamant to do it. I don't actually remember. Yeah. Oof. What a misplay. Oh, yeah, and they crit. Yo. Yeah. You either have to be Adamant or crit. Regular Behemoth Blade doesn't just KO Eternatus. So, very terrible turn. That was like one of the worst turns I've ever seen in my life, right? One of the worst turns I've ever seen in my life. And it's going to be a lot harder to win this one. So how do we do it, right? How do we win this one? The answer may surprise you, because now we have Tailwind, and I was kicking myself because like, oh man, this turn he's going to protect. Right? This is the turn that they protect. Crobat's locked into Tailwind, so this is where I was talking about, like, I don't have to just max Dialga and do the same thing every game. I'm thinking about Max Quaking, but I'm like, I know they're going to protect. I know they're going to protect, so I mix it up. I think I'm max my Crobat this game. Yeah. I just go for the Earth Power on the Zacian to stick damage, and I go for an Airstream into the Torkoal. It's time. It is indeed time to max Crobat. So first of all, we misplayed to get ourselves into this situation, but isn't this a cool turn of events? We used the Meowth, it died, it got burned, and we're maxing the Crobat. How often do you see max Crobat? And if you protect, you know, you're just gonna, you know, yep, there's the protect on Torkoal. So no protect Zacian, literally never lucky, I think. SMH. Torkoal still takes a good amount of damage here, though. Still takes a good amount of damage. And I think I don't remember if I crit the Zacian or, like, what's up here. I think they go for a play rough this turn, actually. Yeah, I think they play rough the Dialga, which tells me they don't have Sacred Sword. Yeah, I can't believe they didn't protect. Obviously, you need Max Quake to get the KO on Zacian. You can tell it's a bulkier Zacian. Otherwise, it would have done about 10% more. So it's a play rough. So it tells me that they just don't have Sacred Sword. And, like, no lie, like, this is not looking good for our hero, but there is one more out, because you remember what they have in the back. You know they have Eternatus in the back. And if they protect Zacian this turn and fodder the Torkoal, they're going to get a board that has Eternatus, Zacian, and I can't check both of them. But there are outs that we have in these situations. Don't worry. Your hero is going to pull through correct play. But it's not looking good, right? It's really not looking good. And once Crobat's max turns are gone, it's stuck using Tailwind. And they know that because they saw me go for the Choice Scarf Tailwind earlier. So the correct play for them is just to play defensive. But we're just waiting. They're thinking about it, though. The correct play here, like we said, is just fodder the Torkoal, protect your Zacian, bring your Eternatus, and then try your best. There's the protect Zacian. Better late than never, right? And we finally get the Airstream. So this is the second Airstream. So Dialga is always going to be fast, even without the Tailwind that's going to expire relatively soon. And I do like Big Crobat. People like to think of Crobat as solely a support Pokemon, but like it has more attack than a Talonflame. So Crobat's actually a decent attacker. And so the issue comes here, right? The sunlight fades, that's very important. And I don't know what happened in this exact situation. I have no idea how this actually all came about here. But you're going to see them send out their Eternatus, right? And this is my one-shot Hail Mary. Like, this is a... You know, I always say, like, kind of with that Zacian, they could have used Sacred Sword on me. We forced them to use their strongest move, which was Play Rough. With this Eternatus, I don't know anything about this set, but we're going to force it to not have the right move. You're going to see what we use here. Do you guys see it? You see what we use? I'll go back. Because I actually kept it. Note that I didn't, like, U-turn earlier. And I do that every once in a while. I didn't U-turn earlier because I like to save it if I can. But we use Max Flutter to lower the special attack on the Eternatus. Yes. Lower the special attack on the Eternatus. So Flutter's going to get a special attack drop. And, I mean, Dialga's a Dialga. Who knows? If you have, like, no special attack and I get a drop, you might not get a KO with it this turn. So we get a special attack drop on that. We go for the Earth Pound the Zacian, who didn't even try to double, which is totally fine. Zacian goes down. And we're just praying that the Eternatus cannot KO Dialga after we take the second Life Orb chip. So is there any move that I think can have at -1? And he uses Flamethrower. And I'm like, bro. We take those. The power of Flutter. He looks to be super wall set, probably with like Recover Cosmic Power type stuff. And I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't even have Dynamax Cannon. Like probably Protect, Recover, Cosmic Power, Flamethrower. Realistically, it's like probably just a Pressure Staller. And we forced it. The power of Max Flutter Crobat coming in hot. Play into our outs. Like, obviously, we misplayed. You get this. There's the Protect. See, like I said, the fact that we see, like, Flamethrower Protect with the Black Sledge kind of tells us all we need to know about that set. But we repop another Tailwind, even though we don't need it. Remember, we are Choice Scarf. We are locked into that move. And the Roar Time, all we got to do is hit Roar Time. Yeah, what a game, right? It was an emotional roller coaster, right? And Dialga should... Like, the cool thing about Dialga with Roar Time is that even out of max, it's still a 150 base move. It's still hitting the same base power as a Max Wormwind. Flutter has to be the least used max move. I would agree. It's pretty low usage, but it's so cool when it works. You know, again, we have to use Tailwind. And Roar Time does connect into the Eternatus, even the bulky boy, going down in one hit. And we be taking those wins, man. We do be taking those wins. You love to see it. And it feels great. Remember, I had to completely throw to get to that situation, but we do take those wins. I mean, it feels great. So we go into the next game. This guy has Shedinja, right? Shedinja, Ditto. This guy's like all over the place, right? All over the place with the memes. Good thing is for us, we have Crobat can hit it, Grimmsnarl can hit it, Rillaboom can hit it, Eternatus can hit it, even Meowth can hit it. So this Shedinja is actually like not a problem for us. And again, they have like the Zacian and stuff like that. So like we can do basically whatever we want against this guy. I think I'd go with the Grimmsnarl though, just because Grimmsnarl is, I don't know if I go, yeah, I like going Grimmsnarl against Whims. So against other teams that have Zacian that also have potential to Tailwind and stuff like that, I usually like going with the Grimm, because the Grimm, we can just go fake out Steel Spike into the Whim slot. And then I'm still going to bring the Crobat in the back, but I think I bring Crobat in the back. But it's better just to go with a fake out user against Whims in my opinion, because if I were to open up with Crobat versus Whims and want to go for my Tailwind, they could actually just Prankster taunt me, and that'd be really bad. So I decided to go Grimm in this situation, and you know, let's see what they lead with. But we have to assume that Shedinja is going to come at some point. Cool thing is a lot of our Mons actually have like Tech for Shedinja, and that's just because Dialga has such a hard time with it. So that's one of the reasons why we're using like Knockoff Rillo, why we're using Foul Play Grimm. It's exclusively for Shedinja. So this is the exact lead that we're usually trying to check almost every single time. And I've been a huge fan of this exact lead for a while. Leading Grimm Dialga into Incin Zacian. The reason why I like this, people have been not necessarily knocking my Grimm spread, but they're like, why is your Grimm so fast? And my Grimm is so fast, so I can click Fake Out on other Incineroars. Right now, they think they can fake out my Grimm to stop my Thunder Wave, and they get a free turn with their Zacian. They can sub, they can do whatever they want. I don't like to let them do that. Now, I could fake out their Zacian, and then hit the Zacian, but then that opens up their slot for their Incin to, like, Parting Shot my Dialga, and if I were them, and I was going Protect Zacian, Parting Shot Dialga, which is a really valid play, I don't like that. Like, I'd much rather just fake out their Incin and deal with their Zacian. Worst case scenario, they get a pot shot off on one of my Mons. So you see, I outspeed their Incin because we're super fast. Oh, I didn't fake out the Zacian. I guess I'm good. There's good and bad things about each of them. Usually I like to open up by fake out in the Incin, but like we take these. Yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this. This is a greedier play to do the way I did it right here, though. Greedier to do it this way. You know, I went through that whole issue of explaining what was good and bad about it. But yeah, it's a lot greedier to do that. If they just wanted to play it safer, they would be safe. And we would have wasted max turn. So I'll take those anyways. We do be taking those. I'm not gonna... I always get this saying wrong. It's like, lick a gift horse in the mouth. I always say it wrong. Oh, we take those. So there's the Shedinja, right? So Shedinja's a bit of a dicey guy. And I'm thinking to myself, alright, I know that Max Quake doesn't KO if they have, what is it? It does not KO the Incin if they have a Shuka. And that's a really, really common item. But I know Wax Wormwind will KO. Well, I'm pretty sure it will. And so we just double into the Incin slot because we know that the Always Push is probably coming. And we are pretty sure that we can just KO the Incin. And that's a really, really low power board anyways. Like, there's nothing that the board really brings to the table. So we also just know that we probably have to break the Sash. But it might not be Sash. We don't know anything really about it. But we doubled in that slot because we knew, at the very least, we'd get a KO on something this turn. So Shedinja goes down. It was not sashed. We do be taking those. And you get a free Snarl off, and that tells me that you're vested. Just letting you know, it tells me that you're vested. And I have one more max turn. You haven't maxed yet, but like, I'm in a really, really good spot. And let's see. We have a +1 Spadef. Shedinja down. There's the Kyurem. There's the Max boy. Poor Kyurem. Poor defenseless Kyurem. The right play for them is to go for like a max guard here and wait out my last max turn. And we decided to nuke it just to keep it honest because so basically I like nuking it in this situation because if you don't just double go into it and they go for like just a big attack, they don't max guard, that's bad, you know? I'm going to try my best to like use my Dynamax turns the best that I can. At the end of our max, though, we still hit for 150, right? So our offense still stays the same, so we can just double into it next turn, too. I like the deduction that Snarl and Sin is probably AV. Yeah, I would say that's pretty useful, though, right? Wouldn't you agree? Like, why else would you have Snarl instead of, like, parting shotting there? To reapply your fake out and stuff like that. So second Snarl is completely fine. This wastes one of their max turns, which means we're going to waste a second max turn no matter what happens this turn. And, yeah, we're just in an okay spot. So Dialga's out of max turns. Remember, we do have a +1 Spadef boost. And you can do basically whatever you want. I'm thinking Fake Tears or Scary Face, and I just go for the Fake Tears because I have an Eternatus in the back. Yep. And so we try and switch in the Crobat. There's a couple different things this goes for. This would block a Max Quake, but also this would allow us to then Tailwind to make it so even the Dialga can check the Kyurem in the back. But yeah, that was a, scouting in Sins and stuff like that. That was exactly how you used to scout for AV and Sin back in the day in like 2019. This is a really big tell. You saw other moves on the, non-AV, and AV used to be the most common item on Sin. It used to be built more like Rilla. What's this Meowth's team record? I don't remember the record, but like, it won almost all the games that it played. I think we have a loss coming up within like 1 or 2 games. So they go for another Snarl. It really doesn't matter. This time, we just go for the Scary Face because why not? And, oh yeah! We go for, we're just going to start chipping the Incin. Because we just want them to get a KO. We should have went for Hypnosis because that would have been really funny. But yeah, he has like a Spadef drop. This is the last turn of Max. And now it's a speed drop. And now we're just in a good spot. So just free damage here. And we're trying to see more stuff about the set. Like, we might still see like a Citrus or something, but very uncommon. I'm assuming the Shedinja had these safety goggles because it's paired on a Kyurem team that uses Hailstorm like this. So it's absolutely fine. So Hailstorm activates and we're fine, basically. There's the Life Orb. And Burning Jealousy. And that's another big tell that I would say that it's vested. Again, I don't even really remember, but like, aren't these all tells that it's vested, realistically? So we just go Eternatus in this situation. It's probably the wrong play to like send out Eternatus just because it's so revealing. Like, I don't even have to reveal that I had it, but it's fine. I just want to speed the game up a little bit. And we don't know what the Kyurem was boosting Protect off of. Like, it did max guard once, but, it might not actually have Protect. I love this format, like showing recording vids and giving your commentary on why you do what you do. I like it too. I think it's a lot of fun because it allows me to play the games off stream, which means I can usually, for the most part, play a lot better and not have to worry about, like, answering chat or dealing with other stuff like that. And there's a Citrus, so it wasn't even vested. There you go. Never lucky. I think it's Citrus, right? Very uncommon set, then. Uncommon. See, we analyzed something incorrectly. Never lucky. But, I still think that it's the right play to call something like that vested in that situation. And so, yeah, you can see in that situation, the fact that we sent out Eternatus and Crobat also kind of baited them into not going for Protect, seeing that, like, this is their one shot to get a Blizzard to win the game, right? This Alex guy's pretty good. Yo, I know, right? But yeah, I feel like getting an insight into, like, the reasons why I make every move and how I kind of set up the conditioning pins, like, 3 to 4 turns in advance sometimes is pretty nice. I feel bad for this team, though, because this team always leads really, really cool, and the first 2 or 3 turns are, like, big brain plays, and then I kind of just, like, flounder my way to winning the rest of the match. One thing this team really does is that, like, it's not, like, hyper-aggressive, but what it does is it likes to get an early KO and then just trade cost effectively. So if I have 4 and you have 3, well, I can trade 1 for 1, and then I can trade 1 for 1, and then I can trade 1 for 1, and then I have 1 and you have none. And that's kind of just how the team works. This is the loss, right? This is the loss that I had. I think this is my first loss. I'd already been playing for an hour, right? And this is a good looking team. It doesn't have fake out users. I think you're going to see, I think I screenshot it because I was like, I want to play that. That looks like a lot of fun. Good max options, good speed control options, multiple sash options. Very, very good looking team, I think. I think on paper, that team's doing everything right. If you're going to be playing like Torn Ogre, Zacian at this point in the meta, I think that's a really, really cool way to do it. There's 2 Tailwind setters, guys. Like, it's so hard to deal with that. It's really, really hard. Like, obviously that team could have a hard matchup versus, like, hard Trick Room. You see, I take a picture, I was like, I'm going to use this. But yeah, the team would have a hard matchup versus hard Trick Room. But other than that, it's a really, really cool way to play Ogre. Have to, like, respect Scarf Ogre here. The Whims could have a Trick Room set if it needed it. Like, there's so many different things that team does right. And, yeah, we're just going to go into it. And I want to show you guys, like I said, I'm going to give you a preview. I think I lose this one. But that doesn't mean that I shouldn't have won. You're going to see some fucking galaxy brain shit happen here. I'm so good. Yeah, that's like, I still think I played like a champion in this one after the first turn. So Zacian Cart, remember the thing about Zacian teams is they always have to max something. right? So this is we wouldn't fake out the cart here because it's going to be maxing. Note that I lead Rilla here. I don't really lead Rilla all that often. It's only versus like Torn Ogre teams usually. And it's just to give my Dialga a little bit more breathing room. So I would go like fake out, KO their Torn. But then the problem with this team is they can send out a second Speed Control Mon or even a third in Regieleki. So it's like it's still really, really hard. And it's so hard to use Crobat versus like the faster Tailwind teams. And it's funny, this guy didn't even use it. I could have led Crobat and gotten away with it. I would have got away with it too if it wasn't for your pesky everything. Right, so they're maxing their cart. Not that afraid of cart here. I think they crit me though. I think this is like one of the unluckiest games you're going to see me play with this team. But still a good one, I think. I think I get like super, super, super unlucky. But we'll see. So they go protect, obviously, right? And what else am I supposed to do? Like, oh, I Trick Room. Yeah, this is the game where I Trick Room. Yeah, see, like, I have to, right? This is the only out that you have with this team. I Trick Room. Yep. That's a good play. Knowing that you can Trick Room and mix it up is smart. Cool. Yeah, you don't have to max every turn. So we go for the fake out in the Zacian just to seal it up. It wastes its protect. Its protect's now on cooldown. And we get the big Trick Room. That's the 50-50 mix up. They get an attack boost. But, like, we're still in a great spot here. And so I'm thinking that Max Nut gave it so much value. We have to go for a U-turn or hard switch. And I don't remember which one I do. I think we still max here, as weird as that sounds. Yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm like, this is so bad, you know. But we have to, you know. Thank goodness they just leave their Zacian. And holy moly, if they just would have switched into like a Torn, I would have lost the game. And they do have the Torn in the team. It's there. So here we go, big Dialga. We're hoping that they take the bait and go more into the Rilla slot this turn. And that they let my Dialga live for 2 turns. That's kind of what I'm hoping. Even if you KO the Dialga here, you know, it is what it is. So U-turn pops off. We did that just in case they, you know, had Sash on Torn and they switched in Torn so the game wouldn't be completely over. And then we have to bring in, I think we bring in the Grim. Yeah, because you don't want to bring in the Eternatus because it's too fast. Actually, yeah, we bring in the Eternatus, I think, because this is where I make a freaking Galaxy Brain play in like 2 turns. So Eternatus comes into Soak. It's actually really cool that we brought Eternatus into Soak this too. We're gonna see why in a minute. So we go for the Quake, pick up the KO. I don't think they expected us to click the max. And by the way, I think we're behind. So it's like I feel like I have to start making plays to force my way back in this game. And I wonder why they didn't like switch it though. Because they totally could have switched it. We have to assume they have, like, Torn and Ogre in the back still. So that's really, really problematic. And so there's the Flutter, which is bad because it lowers my special attack. But it's weird. It tells me, obviously, we thought that thing was bested the whole time. But now we know. And we have 2 Spadef drops. But let's see. What do we do here? I'm trying to remember exactly what I do to, like, Galaxy Brain this as much as I did. Because we make a sick play. A sick play. There's the Ogre, right? Okay. Alright, what would you guys do here? If you're me, what do you do here? So I'm thinking about it. This is the next turn. The next turn is the one you need to be taking a look at. Because obviously we can just double into the Ogre, right? And try our best to get it off the board. This Pokemon Nature Effect a lot. It's 10%. It's 10%. Remember, both my Mons have a special attack drop, so it's a bit unfortunate. We're trying to go after the Ogre because we're assuming it's, it can't, first of all, it can't max. And we're assuming, since we already know the Vest is on card, that it's a Scarf Ogre. And it wasn't Scarf Ogre, and it's looking like we get, first of all, unlucky. Never, ever lucky, ever. So, we get frozen, right? So unlucky. SMH. Alright. So now, Eternatus is frozen. This is now your turn. What is the play? If you had to, because we gotta come back here. Chat, we gotta come back. How could you possibly come back in this situation? Like, Do you have tips for just making teams? I would say just start out with Pokemon that you like, you know. What do you do? What's the play? If you had to come back, how would you do it? Do you see what we clicked? Let's go. Because I'm frozen still, too. You can go for the flamethrower, but it's not right. I'm bad. Next turn. I'm bad on my turns. We'll do it next turn. I think we're frozen for one turn. They get our Dialga off the board this turn, if I'm remembering correctly. And then I make the good play. I'll show it to you. Yeah, it's just like riding a bike, though. Like, it's hard to make teams, but, like, you have to make each team with a specific goal, you know? Yeah, we get the Kyogre off the board. Actually, is this even the game I'm thinking of? I don't even think this is the game I'm thinking of. I mean, I do my best to make the best plays, but, you know, let's see what happens. Dialga takes some damage. Sacred Sword KOs Dialga. I think I'm still frozen. I remember how this one ends. This isn't the Galaxy Brain play. We're going to do that later. We're going to make the Galaxy Brain play later. Sorry, I was getting this mixed up. I think I get frozen another time and I play around it. Eugenius is frozen, never lucky. And their last mon is the Torn, like we assumed. Yeah, I remember how this one ends. It's just a weird turn of events to see what we send out in this situation. Because, like, Rilla's not that great here. Grimm's not that great here. But look at this sick play. Last turn, Trick Room, right? We know that's Sash on that Torn, too. And I'm like, if I can wake up and pop that Meteor Beam, we then outspeed the cart because it never airstreamed. So I go for the Fake Out, break Sash. Right? Stops anything the Torn was doing. He goes for a Smart Strike into the Groom. We have a Babiri, right? And then, look at this. Like, Smart Strike. And then we Thaw, right? We Thaw, right? Thaw out. Easy Meteor Beam. We have 3 Mons. This is like the last turn of the Trick Room. And so, it's like, yes! Freaking did it. Let's freaking go. And then I miss my Meteor Beam. And then we lose. Do I miss Meteor Beam? Wait. I have the wrong game. I guess I win this one. Fuck. Do I win this one? I don't fucking remember anymore. I'm so sorry. I apologize. You know, I played these yesterday, but like, one of these games I fucking thought, and then I miss a Meteor Beam, and I lose. I guess I'm spoiling everything. I'm the worst streamer of all time. Worst streamer ever. That's a +1. But we win. I think. Yeah, we killed that thing anyways. Oh well. One of these ones I fucking miss it, though. Yeah, they just scoop it. Oh, what's the game where I fucking miss my Meteor Beam and just lose? No, I know what it is. Alright, I got it all wrong. Best streamer ever. Alright, here, is it this game? It's this game. Yeah, I lose against fucking Steelix guy that doesn't bring it. Okay, let's go. You see what I thought, though? Like, he still had, like, the, he still has, it's still Ogre, too. It's like, it's an Ogre game where I miss a Meteor Beam and I lose. So that's this game. Lamau. But anyways, hey, we won that one. There you go. Play to your outs. Well, let's speed this one up a little bit. Yeah, you think if I was going to review replays, I would have reviewed them first. No, it's fine. Alright, so yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the game that we lose, right? Lando Kyogre, you know that I usually like to go after the Lando first. Actually, I'm trying to remember what I do in this game, because I might do a different play. And note that I led different order there. I don't remember exactly why. It doesn't matter. Usually I'll change their order, depending on if they have a Ditto on their team. But, yeah, this guy didn't have Ditto. So, Tailwind. And we go for the Wormwind, because we can usually ignore the Kyogre for at least one turn. They're usually vested. So we're hoping that, obviously, it's not like a Scarf Ogre. Even if it was, we'd still get our Tailwind up. And we'd be able to tell, because it would probably be faster than Lando. So, like, the unfortunate play would be, like, Scarf Ogre and vested Lando. That'd probably be the worst thing. But, you know, we'll see what happens. There's also a higher chance that it's like Scarf Lando, but, you know, I'm already giving away too many spoilers. I think it's the Vested Lando and the Scarf Ogre in this game. There's too many games. We just play too many games. So they max the Lando, which is unfort. We are going to try and stick a Wormwind into it. I don't remember if it was Vested or if it was White Herbed. But either way, like, that's one of the reasons why I like going to the Lando play. You either just KO it or stick a Wormwind on it. It's not that impactful. Max Quake does a lot. Like, a lot of damage that I don't want to take. I can eat, like, 6 or 7 Water Spouts, but I can't eat, like, 2 Quakes, right? Without at least sticking a Wormwind in there. And if I were to Wormwind the Ogre, I'm not about that. You know, it just wouldn't do enough if they maxed it. So there's the Tailwind. Free Tailwind. So we're getting able to be outspeeding the Lando here. And goes for a Spout. So you can see right there, the fact that they outsped our Dialga means they're Choice Scarfed. What is it? They're Choice Scarfed on the Kyogre slot. And we go for the Wormwind. Yeet. And we don't get the KO. Literally never lucky. Oh well. And we stick the Wormwind. And they don't have a White Herb, so that means they were Vested. And then they go for a Quake. And I'm like, alright, cool, they're -1, we're fine. They're -1, we're fine. And then we get crit. Yo! Is that a crit? Yeah. So, that's literally the worst case scenario right there. Just to show, like, this team is not the easiest thing to play. You don't just go fast, click Tailwind, win every game. You know, sometimes you fight Scarf Ogre, and they crit KO you with a Life Orb Lando. Holy moly, that's a bulky Life Orb Lando. Never lucky. We're still playing our outs though. Alright, so yeah, we're doing our best. We can outspeed the Kyogre or the Lando with this. Remember, they do have this right now they got a Quake boost on that Kyogre too, so like I wouldn't want to go for like a Dynamax Cannon into the Kyogre slot. But there is a move we do want to go to into the Kyogre slot. Look at this savage outplay. Look at this, look at this. Look at it, look at it. This is the turn I was talking about. This is it. I'm looking at their team and I'm like, okay, that Kyogre needs to reset so it can use Ice Beam. Right? It needs to reset. Kyogre has to switch. Don't Dynamax Cannon. Don't do it. Don't fucking do it. Don't do it, me. I know. Because it's looking so attractive. It's looking so attractive to Grassy Glide to KO that Lando. But we would lose the game if they hard switched out Kyogre for Incin and intimidated my Rilla. Also, switching out Kyogre for Incin mitigates Fake Out from the Rilla, mitigates a Grassy Glide into the Kyogre slot, mitigates damage from Eternatus in the Kyogre slot. It's like a 6 times win for them to switch out this Kyogre for Incin. You get the Fake Out pin on both these Mons. And so you see, what we do here is we mixed it up, and I think we went for the Meteor. We're going to Meteor Beam the Kyogre slot, anticipating Incineroar switching in, and we're going to Grassy Glide the Lando because we have to try, right? We do have to try. So we see the Incin switch in. We see the Incin switch in. It's right there. He's looking pretty. And I'm like, bruh. They max guard, which means we can just attack it with the Eternatus next turn. Remember, the only problem here is that they're going to have a Fake Out pin. So we go for the Meteor Beam on the switch. This game's over. This game is over. We just won. We can check your Kyogre with this Rilla. We check your Lando with this Eternatus. We got a +1. And then we missed the Meteor Beam. Yeah. What do you do, right? What do you do? The play here would be just the Grassy Glide into the Lando, hopefully get the KO and redirect, KO the Incin. Hopefully they don't Fake Out. Obviously they do Fake Out, so we still have to double into the Lando. But like, imagine if we just KO'd your Incin that turn. Because we made the read. We had it. We had the savage outplay read. That Incin would have been gone. You would have had to bring out... Remember, I still have a Tailwind up. That's the thing. And so I can just one-shot your Kyogre. It doesn't have a Sped Up boost anymore. I can just KO your Lando whenever I felt like. I would actually probably just throw the Grassy Glide into the Ogre spot and do about like 80%. And then, well, maybe about 65, 70 because of the Intimidate. And then I would just kill your Lando. And then I would... And Who's Protector's on cooldown. And then next turn, I just double tap the Kyogre and finish off the pawn you bring out in the back. So it is what it is. Literally never. Yeah, your E-Tornadoes, I have a Tailwind up. So it's like, easy. Easy. And so at this point, like, we're still playing it out, but, like, we do lose. So, nothing we can really do about that. But you can't say I didn't make the right plays. And so, like I said, you know, also seeing, like, protecting E-Tornadoes is relatively uncommon, so it's worth forcing it there and seeing what the Incin can actually do. Because they're just trying to wait out Tailwind. And then I think they actually go first, which means they're timid. So we actually were able to gauge, like, a lot more about their set by just, you know, playing this out. We're able to see that they have, like, a protect. We're able to see that they're a full speed with timid nature on their E-Tornadoes. So, like, if this was, like, a best of 3, we would have equalized the amount of information that we showed on both sides. We know where their Scarf is. We know how their E-Tornadoes is built. We know that their Incin has Lariat. So, cool game overall. We know that their Lando was Life Orb. So it was a good exercise in you know, seeing what we could do. But it does suck we lost that one, because, like, I felt that we remember, the only reason we even got put in that situation is because we got crit by a Max Quake on turn 1. I don't see why they made Meteor Beam have 90% accuracy. It's already basically requires an IM to have viability. I think they just did it because, like, all rock moves have, like, bad accuracy. I think that was the reason why. Alright, so this game, right, we're going to be going up against Reshiram Zacian. This guy actually plays this one really, really well. And they also have a Gastro. It's not the end of the world. But yeah, Reshiram Zacian. And I'm thinking if I want to bring Grim or Rilla. I don't remember which one I actually do go with. Because, like, obviously Rilla's good versus things like Aleki. But Grim is better most of the game for being able to apply, like, a little bit more speed control. You can also go for, like, fake tiers into Reshirams, which nowadays are built vested and very bulky. So it's like we might not be able to KO Reshiram if they max it, you know? So it's better to go with Grim, I would say. So they go Rillaboom, Reggie, Aleki into Crobat Dialga. And this is absolutely fine. I got no problem here. There's 3 or 4 different, like, flowcharts we can go through in this situation. Obviously, we could just get our Tailwind up, but I think we're going to open up with something a little bit different in this situation. I would like to get that Regieleki off the board turn 1 and not have to deal with Sash. Because I'm looking right here, where's your Sash? It's either on Zap or Regieleki. And I'm like, it's probably on the Regieleki, right? And so we just go for a U-turn in this situation. U-turn and then a Quake. And we want to stick these Quakes as much as possible. And then we just bring out something else like Grim that can give us a fake out pin on turn 2. So it's like a 3 times win. And we also pass the Quake boost to the Grim, which is really, really nice. That's one of the reasons I love this team so much. It doesn't really care what your opponent does turn 1 a lot of the time. And we're just in a really, really good spot. So we're going to be able to get a fake out pin turn 2. We're going to get Quake boost. We're going to KO an Aleki. Or at least break Sash if they go Protect, which they shouldn't in this situation. Every single Regieleki ever created wants to hit that Crobat slot. And we're like, nah, fam, that ain't me. So we can come right in with Grim. And that's the reason why we brought the Grim. So cool. And we have a relatively hidden fake out user, I would say. So Grim's really, really good here. There's the Electro Web. Does not matter. It sucks that we're getting a speed drop. So that way, like, if they were going to bring out Reshiram right here, they totally could. But it doesn't really matter because you are going to be losing your Lecky. There's the knockoff. Never lucky. Poor Life Orb. But Lecky's gone. So that's so sick. And I guess instead of taking damage from Life Orb, I restore health with Grassy Terrain. So that's a win-win. But, like, what's this Rilla doing here, you know? So you can bring out your Zacian, but, like, I have to fake out Quake. Or I have, like, the speed drop Quake. Or I have, like, a fake tiers play. I know a couple other mons that you have. You haven't blown your max yet, so I know you're saving that for the Reshiram. But I do feel like I'm in a pretty good spot. Like, if you were to come out with Reshiram right now, I'm pretty sure I could go for the speed drop. There's the Reshiram. I could go for, like, a speed drop and, like, a Roar of Time. But if you hard switch in Zacian, like a good player should do in this situation, it's bad, right? And I'm thinking to myself, like, a good player, right here, this is what a good player does. They either protect their Zacian by, like, max guarding it, and then you turning with Rilla to bring Zacian on the other side and pin, or you just hard switch in Reshiram for Zacian, which is an amazing play. The good players know the way to beat Dialga is to mitigate the damage it does with its max move. So, like, them using knockoff to get rid of my Life Orb mitigates damage. Them switching in types to nullify it mitigates damage. And the reason why, you're like, that's why don't you just max Quake? It's good versus both of those. Like I said, Reshirams are built vested, and I wouldn't have actually gotten the KO from Max Quake. Looking back on it, like 2020 vision, like, yeah, Max Quake would have been better because I can also just not care if I go for a Max Quake and I don't get the KO because I'm getting Spit F boost, which is great. But this guy made the right play, which is because he was so pinned from turn 1, getting rid of the Zacian, switching it in is nice. Finally got a stream, yo, we're here. So in this situation, like, yeah, I realized like Quake's pretty good, but you can also just go for the Wormwind on the Rilla slot now too. It would lower the attack on the Zacian. If you try and go for a switch in with your Rilla into Reshiram, that'd also lose you the game. So Zacian's obviously protecting. Like I said, the whole point of this team is to wait out the max turns on Dialga. And so they go for the Grassy Glide. A little bit never lucky, but it's okay. So we go for a Scary Face into the Zacian slot, expecting either a double switch and also just like putting a second Scary Face up there so Dialga could check if they wanted to go after Grim that turn. So it's good damage into Rilla. We weaken up the Zacian. Now, they have all their max turns left on Reshiram, and you would say that we're probably behind because we wasted our max, but if you remember what we have in the back, that's one of the reasons why Eternatus is such a good mon on this team. It's a mon that, yes, it's a restricted, but it checks Dynamax mons without actually having to Dynamax itself. So it's really nice. Your YouTube got me into Pokemon VGC recently, so I've been trying to catch you live. Yo, I'm here. I stream pretty much every weekday. And usually the weekends now, actually. So yeah, we're still in a good spot here. We do need one more Scary Face on Zacian to get the KO. And it'd be nice to go for the Earth Power to be able to put it within range of a Flamethrower for Eternatus, but it's not like super, super important. It doesn't bother me if we lose both of our mons here. So you switch in the Zacian, and you bring in the Reshiram and take the Earth Power, which is like amazing. We take that all the way to the bank, and you get the speed drop, so it's great. So the next turn we can just go like right away for something else. But yeah, we'll see what happens. There's a Scary Face. The value of this bulky Grim, by the way, it's so nice. This guy's probably like, why wouldn't you just put up a screen? And I'm like, no, I don't want to put up a screen. All right, so that's great. How much damage that did? That means Roar Time would KO if we were to Roar Time that slot. If they maxed it. And both, the cool thing what we've done here in this game that I think is really overlooked is that we've done a really, really good job. We haven't gotten any big KOs on these last 2 mons, but remember, they haven't maxed. And so now we've put them in a situation where if they max these mons, they're super underwhelming, right? That's a fast Rilla. It's using priority moves, but you're right. I mean, so are we. You're right. No, Rilla's just fast. Like, Grim has like 25 base speed less than Rilla. So like even Rilla with like, like 20-ish points is faster. They go for the Protect. We hard switch out. And we just didn't want to, we wanted to be able to use Crobat to be a bully here. Wild, how's it going? Caught the Muck video the other day. The Muck video was good. So yeah, we're in a great spot here. We could U-turn. We could then regain board pressure with Fake Outs. They're going to have to max soon. That's the thing. They're going to have to max soon. And they're just trying to get as much grassy terrain value as possible until then. Getting better at WoW. Yo. Are you talking to me? I still play every couple days. I try and play a little bit. Yeah, we just go for the Brave Bird. We know we want the Rilla off the board. And I'm thinking, am I thinking about Trick Rooming? No way. No, I think I just go for the Roar Time into the Reshiram. Earth Power's wrong. Don't Earth Power me. Come on. Roar Time me. Do it. Like, you could switch at the Reshiram for Zacian's slot and pull one more fast one on me. But we'll see what happens. Oh, you are pushing arenas. Yo, good play. So they do switch out the Reshiram for Zacian. It's the second time they tried that bait. And it doesn't really matter, in my opinion. There's the Zacian's attack boost. And Brave Bird's going to KO the Rilla. And I think I do Roar of Time, right? Do I Roar of Time? Did I fall for the bait twice? 2 times I took the bait? Yep, I did. It's fine. It really is completely fine. Like, I feel like this is one of those situations where, like I said, my team gets slightly ahead and then it starts trading. It starts playing very cost effectively for like the next few turns of the game. And so in the situation, we're locked into Brave Bird, so we're just going to Brave Bird out Reshiram. It should be a 2-shot, even on max. And we just want to go for the Roar Time. We just want to double into the Reshiram slot in case they want to go like sub Zacian or protect Zacian for a turn. Because they've already shown a preference for protecting their Zacian. And they're most likely maxing their Reshiram to try and get stuff done. They should... They should know that we're... Actually, they don't know that we're scarfed on this Crobat right now. Yeah, and I'm using that to my advantage. Because I'm like, alright, they're not going to respect Crobat enough. And Crobat should be able to get 2 shots off here. They're going to double into Dialga, basically. So there's Max and the Reshiram. And remember, we still have Grim and Eternatus in the back, so we can still come out, drop speed control, fake out Zacian, take out the Reshiram. We're still in a really, really, really good spot, I would say. But I want to finish this off with Crobat. So we see Max Reshiram. And we already know that's not vested at this point because it did use Protect earlier. So big damage. So we'll have to assume the other item here is Orb, which they go for the Sacred Sword here. It's nice, right? Like, almost gets the KO. Almost. And they still have to double into it. Otherwise, Dialga would just win the game. So they go for a Quaker. They're like, yes, now I'm the one with the Spadef boosts. But you've made a grave mistake because now your Reshiram takes Orb damage and it puts it within range for Crobat to finish off. And I'm like, bruh. And you can go for Protects all you want, but like, we got Grim coming out with the big fake out pins late game. So all we have to do is like fake out pin the Grim, KO the Reshiram. If you go for a Max Guard, I just do the same play next turn, and then drop your Reshiram speed. So then on the third turn, we just bring out Eternatus and win the game. Yep, just go for the fake out. Easy peasy. Again, you can go for all the protects you kind of want. We'll be fine. Max Guard there. Zacian's protect. Zacian's going to take the fake out in the face. Absolutely amazing. So we just go for another Brave Bird, finish it off. And the fact that we have like Crobat, like you were saying, like, well, the Zacian is a +1 from the Max Quake. Flamethrower won't KO, and it's like, Flamethrower's going to be fine, you know? We go for a speed drop there. If they don't take out the Grim, we're able to put a fake tears up on it too. So if they go after the Crobat, you know, Grim's able to fake tears. But if you're going after the Grim, Crobat's able to like slam Brave Birds into the Zacian as well, which will still do a lot. So we take out the Reshiram. I do think they go after the Grim, but like you're gonna and then again you're gonna have to take out the Eternatus the next turn, which means I basically get like 2 Brave Birds into the Zacian, and it's gonna be a win-win. Yo, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Appreciate the follow. That's the first one of the day. Appreciate it. Thank you. So we lose the Grim. Babiri Berry not gonna help out too much, and then bring out the big Eternatus in the back. And so, like, I got a lot of really, really good switches. They wasted, like, almost all of my max turns, and they pivoted very, very well. But nothing stops Crobat Grim when I got the enemy in my sights. So we just go for the Brave Bird. Like, 2 Brave Birds plus the Flamethrower is enough. Remember, we put up this scary face so that he's slower than us right now. They could try and weave in Protects or something. It doesn't really matter, you know? So you can see how much that does. It's way too much. It's going to mitigate any +1s you have. Flamethrower. Yeet. Yep, you see there's the Quake. And, oh, we get the burn too. We didn't even need it. I'm going to show you that we didn't need it. Watch. I forgot we got the burn there. So they go for the Behemoth Blade. They hit the Eternatus, right? And you can see it didn't even do half. That would have doubled into, like, not even anywhere close, which means they're already a really bulky Zacian on that team. They would have had to crit us and not get burned. So we take those, you know. I had a higher % chance to burn than they did to crit, so it's actually fair. But yeah, we didn't even need the burn. We didn't even need it. It was game over anyways. But it would have doubled into not even KOing. It would have had to double and crit. That's the cool thing about Eternatus is, like, Behemoth Blade doesn't always one-shot unless, like, you're full invested Adamant. Other than that, we just take the wins. We just take the wins. And so, is this the last game? No, I think there's 1 or 2 more games. But this is up against Solgaleo Yveltal. I really like this team. I like the Grim and Sin. I like the Lecky. This guy's doing everything right. And so, I was thinking about using Meowth. But I was like, nah. Oh, I think I remember this game. This is a cool game. We're gonna show you guys some cool stuff. This game's gonna be a little bit different, I think. Solgaleo is like a really niche pick right now that we're seeing all over the meta. But I think this is a funny game where we're gonna see us do something a little bit different than our standard stuff. Because, like, remember, we're made to beat like Zacians. We're made to beat a few different things, and Solgaleo and Yveltal aren't really one of them. But we'll show you something sick. Oh, this is just so greedy. Because, like, Yveltal scales to be better. Like, there's no reason to Tailwind here because Yveltal doesn't really have to care. So just, like, watch what we do. Oh, you'll see. You'll see. I'll show you some cool shit this game, I think, though. So, we're looking at their team, and we're like, all right, this is just really problematic. And so, we go for the Tailwind. And I think we just go for a Wormwind into the Incin, just to get it off the board, because we wanted to see if they had any Fairy types to switch in, and they don't. And I just want the Incin off the board so I can't weave in Parting Shots all game. And it's safer to do that than to go for the Quake in case they had a Shuka Berry, right? Obviously, this one would lose to a Vested Incin. So, I think there's a higher % chance that it's Shuka than Vest, and we obviously know that the Vest is probably on the Yveltal, and if it's not Vested, it's Orbed, right? So we're going to be able to see a lot about what their team does after this first turn. We're going to get up our Tailwind. We're going to soak a shit ton of damage on our Dialga, probably. But we are going to be able to trade for the Incin and maintain speed control. And if for some reason they want to go after Crobat, they would just open up a spot for us to bring out something good, like Eternatus. That's kind of the plan. But think about it, like, Yveltal, Solgaleo are kind of hard for our team to deal with. Because, like, Grim can't do anything to the Yveltal realistically. It's a Dark type, so Pranks doesn't work. And against Solgaleo, we can't drop its Spadef or its speed through, like, Fake Tears or Scary Face. So it's really, really hard to deal with Solgaleo sometimes. So we go for the Tailwind, we go for the Wormwind, and Incin goes down for the count. Very, very aggressive Incin. You can actually say, like, well, why haven't you always done that? Incins can definitely be made to not get KO'd by that, but aggressive Incins always get KO'd by it. And you can say, well, how'd you know that was an aggressive Incin? Well, it's on the board with a Dark Aura boosting Yveltal. So usually whenever you see that, the Incins tend to have about 100 points in attack plus nature, so they can actually be a bully with the Dark Aura steroid, and in addition to their stab on dark attacks. And so you can usually tell that it's an aggressive Incin if it's ever paired with the Yveltal, especially in a lead situation like that. So that's why we were safe enough to actually just go for that. Awesome. And then they usually use Shuka Berry to make sure they can go heavy in offense and not get gimped by one ground attack. So makes sense. And this makes me a rude person, but I want to run Chlorophyll Whimsicott. Now, I like Chlorophyll Whimsicott. I like it. I think it's cool. So we bring in our Crobat's still here. They bring out their Grim. And I'm like, this is bad. We're very pinned. I think this is definitely like a game where I have to wait out their max turns somehow. Because, like, you can just kill my Dialga here. You can just kill it. It will just die. Yo, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Yeah, I think we actually, let me think about this. Yeah, we have to just, we get gimped here. We get gimped by our own tech. Because, like, right now we have the Tailwind. I'm like, I don't need a max guard. It's fine. We switch in our Grim, and they hit us with a Scary Face in the Dialga. And remember, we already have a Spadef drop, right? It's dicey. It looks like a spicy team. It is a spicy team. So, we lose our Dialga. We basically traded all of this stuff for, like, yes, now we have Fake Out pressure, but we're down our win con, and all they've lost is Incin, you know? Yeah, I've used Chlorophyll Whims at events before. So, we have to go Crobat here. Look at this. Are you ready for this? You guys ready for this shit? Oh my gosh. Are you ready? What am I doing, guys? What's the play? We know we got the Eternatus in the back. We're going to need to save that Eternatus. We need to Meteor Beam out. Do you see what I'm doing here? Do you see the next level plays? We don't have to care about that Grim. Because the Grim, it doesn't know. Like, oh my gosh, this is such a... You could also speed drop my Crobat, and I still outspeed your Yveltal because you never airstreamed. So, Eternatus gets a free switch. Grim goes for a Reflect. I don't know why. Probably to block a Spirit Break from the Grim and the Crobat. But even though, like, Crobat would have... Like, realistically, Crobat would have an Infiltrator, okay. Bruh! Miss! Never lucky. Never lucky. Hypnosis miss. And you airstream. And I'm like, bruh. Good night, good fight out here, man. Got the airstream. I missed my... If I hit that Hypnosis, it would have been freaking over. So I'm like, what do we do? So we know that's a vested Yveltal too, just because it never took Life Orb damage, and it's doing about vested numbers. So, and I'm locked in Hypnosis, so at this point, just gotta try it again. Just got to do it again. So it goes with the Scary Face, right? Scary Faces the Crobat, right? But Eternatus outspeeds your Yveltal, remember that. Now, you're vested. I missed my Hypnosis. I've missed Meteor Beams today. It's been I got crit by that Lando Earthquake. This is our only out. The only one. There's only one way. Give me that crit. Yo. We take those. You say never lucky. I say lucky one time. And it gets worse. Remember how that Grim already used a move? Hypnosis. So if they would have went for like a Scary Face into the Eternatus to stop the Meteor Beam, Crobat could have got the Hypnosis, right? It ended up worse for them because they did it correctly. And then now you send out Solgaleo, but like... Yo. All I gotta do is just like... Hypnosis up, friends. Let's go. Hypnosis train. I'm still faster than a Solgaleo, probably. Dun 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 dun. Grimmsnarl's asleep. Has to be asleep that turn. Flamethrower. Burn will be nice too. We would definitely be taking those. And we just one-shot it. Remember, they already maxed, but like, I'm surprised that's still one-shotted. I know we had a +1 special attack, but like, I'm still surprised that one-shotted. And then it feels great, doesn't it? And then all we do is win. It just feels great. We just switch out Crobat to unlock it from using Hypnosis, and then we win. The power of Hypnosis, man. I mean, Hypnosis stopped the Grim that turn, but like, it was the Meteor Beam crit that was straight value. That was a big Meteor Beam crit. So we take those. And so we're going to check their team out. So they had Policy Solgaleo, right? And you see that they're full speed, right? This is why this set is not good. People need to stop using full speed Jolly Solgaleo. You don't need to be Jolly. At +1 Adamant, you outspeed Shadow Rider. So first of all, you don't need to be full speed, but like, you just don't need to be full speed. Like, you should have been bulkier, man. You could have ate that damage. Procced Policy and one-shotted me with like an Earthquake. You know? There's the Vestige Veltal. Full speed there as well. Leftovers Gastro. Safety Goggles and Sin. So it was Safety Goggles. But you see it's very aggressive. So we were able to scout that from the start of the game. Just how they played it with the Veltal. And then Standard Grim. Yep. And then Magnet Alecki. They should have brought it. Alright. Ho-Oh Dialga. What I think is a really, really good team right now is Ho-Oh Dialga. Very, very cool team. I also like there's a Weezing on that team. Weezing makes it hard to use Grim. Note that I still led with the Grim. Right? I'm confident that like our base 100 Grim can still be a bully versus a lot of these guys, even if you turn me off. But like, I still think that it's a really, really good mon in the mirror match. I love it in the Dialga mirror. I love it against things like Ho-Oh. Like, if you can't get a Fake Tears on the Dialga or their Ho-Oh, we're not going to be able to KO them, right? So in these situations, I really like the Grim. I don't think it's... I also really want to be able to, like... The plan here was, if they were to lead, like, Lecky Blastoise or something Blastoise, I don't want that dot happening on my team from the, you know, G-Max water attack. And so my plan was to like Fake Tears and one-shot their Blastoise. And they don't have any Fairy types because it's a regular Weezing. So like I was completely safe in just knowing that that was good play. It's also good versus Lecky. It's good versus Ho-Oh. It's good versus Dialga. So this is a standard safe lead. And I just didn't want that Blastoise to do anything. We also wanted to like not get yawned by Blastoise. A little bit of a problem Pokemon, I would say. So it's worth over-respecting. And they don't even lead with it. They lead Grim Dialga versus, I think, Grim Dialga, right? Grim Eternatus. So this is even better play. Even better play than the Dialga. Because, you know, the Fake Tears plus a Dynamax Cannon would definitely be able to take it out. So, let's see. What do I do here? This is a weird turn. I think you just have to fake out their Grim. And then I think we just Dynamax Cannon their Dialga. And at this point, I've realized they're probably just using Trick Room. And if they were to max, like, cool, I would love to do half to your Dialga, because then I just send out my Dialga, and I go Scary Face in your Dialga, and I KO it with Max Quake. So, if you KO my Eternatus, that's fine. If you want to go for a Trick Room, that should also be fine, right? Because you're taking big damage here. There's the Trick Room. And so you can totally light screen here, and max and do whatever you really want to. I think we're in a fine spot to just go for Self-Scary Face, and just get some big damage with Dynamax Cannon again. Again, I don't really care if you light screen and max. It's a little bit greedy, because now you're maxing something that's so low. Wouldn't you much rather max something else like your Ho-Oh or something? You know? That's the trick. Whenever you're fighting against like Ho-Oh Dialga, you really want to put pressure on their Dialga. Because it's so important. The Dialga unlocks the board and makes me waste my max turns. Like right now, the fact that I'm not maxing, the Dialga player really wants us to be maxing right now. We're just not, you know? And I can underspeed it if I go for a Self-Scary Face. So he'd have to also be Self-Scary Facing with his Grim. And he doesn't know if I am. Does he want to waste it? Does he want to put the white screen? There's so many different like intricacies of stuff that can happen like this turn. And there we go. We see the Max. Max Grim! No, I'm kidding. It's Max Dialga, obviously. There we go. Max in a 45% mon. And they go for a Reflect. And I think the Reflect is there to stop things like Foul Play and Spirit Break, which are very, very popular from Grims in these situations. That's the second time we've seen someone do it. Because they thought they would just kill the Eternatus, and they want to put up the Reflect to stop the Grim damage. So we just get a Dynamax Cannon out. And remember, Dynamax Cannon deals double damage against Max Mons. It did like 55% the first turn. It's going to do the exact same thing again. We do be taking those. So Dialga goes down. Nice Trick Room team, bro. Appreciate it. Appreciate the Trick Room team. I can become even slower if I want. And so I'm thinking, man, you send out that Ho, I'll show you a Meteor Beam right in your kisser. Like, what do you really have to send out in this situation? Blastoise is still a problem, I would say. I do not like Blastoise. So we see the Wheezing here, and I'm like, all right, that's dicey. But the good thing about this is that board is super low power. So we basically know they have Ho-Oh in the back. And again, they're just trying to make us waste max turns and waste our time. We don't have to do anything at all. So here we go. So Scary Face is my favorite. Yeah, I love it. We just go for the Meteor Beam into the Grim so we can get a +1 to check the Ho-Oh when it's finally time to do stuff. Sorry, we hit the Wheezing. You may be saying, like, don't use Meteor Beam. You need Meteor Beam to hit Ho-Oh. If I get the +1, Dynamax Cannon trades effectively. So we don't really need to care. They double into my boy Grim. Never lucky. Never lucky, Grim. And I'm like, it's fine, guys. I'm just going to one-shot their Wheezing, and I'll just get, like, a +1 special attack, and then we'll just win the game. It'll be easy peasy lemon squeezy out here. Overflowing with Space Power. Power Herb up. And then we hit it. I thought I missed it this time. I thought I missed it. I know we don't get the KO. I know that. So it's a lot of damage. It looks to me like it could be vested Wheezing, realistically, because like that's not supposed to be that bulky. So my Dialga comes out now, and this is where I'm like, all right. I woke up and chose violence out here today. Let's go. Steel spiking it up. And at this point, we can... So at this point, it's a... We could Dynamax Cannon the Wheezing. I think I Flamethrower it. I should have Flamethrowered it. That's a bad play. It's not vested. It protects this turn. But I only have a limited number of Dynamax Cannons. And so I need to use them correctly so I can still hit that Ho-Oh, you know? But what's good? We're just reviewing some games, showing how to use a cool team. But I feel like a lot of people don't really enjoy... Do they do more against Max Mons 8% wise? They get more HP but not more defenses? I don't math. No, it's the same calc. It's the same calc. I know that it sounds like it would be different, but it's the same calc. I know it sounds really weird, but it just works out that way. So we get the big Steel Spike up. We get a crit that we don't need, obviously. It still would have KO'd even through screens. And yeah, we're just in an okay spot here. The Ho-Oh is what they have in the back, and it's up to us to defeat Ho-Oh with the double restricted Dragon Squad. But like I was talking about, I feel like a lot of people don't necessarily super enjoy these games because they're already recorded, so people are like, you know, they don't get the immediate reaction of like crazy plays happening. So that's why there's probably not that many people here today. But I feel like these are really, really good streams for helping people like understand the reasons why, you know, specific moves are made. We can talk about how I can actually analyze a team preview and explain the reasons why I'm doing something, and you can actually just see it happen right there. I feel like these are the type of streams that make people better, and I guess like a lot of people just don't have the patience. You know what I mean? Obviously with this one, you know, we're gonna... I feel that the fact that people already know that the games are going to be won by doing a specific thing, they don't want to watch. Yeah, we use the Flamethrower there, which is much smarter because we don't have to like waste the PP on Dynamax Cannon. There's the pressure. And Dialga's pressure. Everyone's pressure. Ho-Oh's obviously a generator, but they saved it till last. I think this kind of stream is better. Well, I like it, yeah. Like, I like this sort of stream because it, again, allows me to, like, set up, like, a lesson plan to where I'm actually reviewing something with, like, a purpose instead of just, like, randomly playing a game and getting, like, sniped on ladder. I don't like getting sniped. I like playing my games off the stream if I can. So anyways, their best plays here, like to protect out and see what they can do, wait on our max turns, but you can see we just have way too much damage. I thought about hard charging the meteor beam, reading the protect, and then just meteor beaming the crap out of it, but it's okay. They're more educational, but maybe not as thrilling as entertaining as normal streams, but that's just my personal opinion. Yeah, I feel that's how they work too. I feel that's a good example. But I feel like this is a good thing every once in a while. Yeah, people can't snipe. That's I like it too. Like, I love it. I love playing on the alt account, and then, like, even if people know that it's me on the alt account, they don't know what the team is because I'm not streaming. Yeah, it's nice. So the good thing about what we're doing here is obviously we're just sticking worm winds into the Ho-Oh, so like it can't do anything. It's like super wet noodle. Am I gonna build a team on stream anytime soon? I don't usually build my teams on stream. Even when I put teams together on stream, I don't actually build teams on stream. I think it'll make good YouTube content. I think it will too. We'll see. The videos aren't going to be live until, like, well, like, probably the second week of May, just because we have a lot of content that we have to get out. Remember, I'm going to Iceland, so, like, I have to stockpile content and stuff like that for May. But look at this. Weak Ho-Oh. Yeah, the team building review streams are fun. We're going to do some more of that before I go on my trip. We take them out, we hit the big roar time, Ho-Oh down for the count, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. So that was, between part 1 and part 2, that was over 2 hours, right? That was over 2 hours of, like, me using this team. And it showed wins, it showed losses, it showed good luck, it showed bad luck, and it just showed that, like, you guys can also make teams that tweak the perception of what your opponent knows as the standard meta or reality, right? It baits them into leading with Zacians, so we can go Scarf Tail into outspeed Zacian, which will enable our Dialga to KO the Zacian. And then a lot of these teams that are built around Zacian, once the Zacian's gone, they have nothing. They kind of just like flail around. Maybe they can max something that they didn't really want to max, like a Riller and Ensign, but like they're kind of left without their leader. You know, it's like a chicken with its head cut off. So it's pretty nice. And I think teams like this are really, really fun and, you know, good for people that want to take an exercise in getting better as a player over time. Like, realistically, I don't know how many of you guys are still going to events, but, like, there's not that many events but left in this season, and there's certainly, like, not really enough events for most people to, like, qualify for Worlds. So unless you're going to Worlds, like, this season's pretty much over. The best thing you can do is exercises like this, where, you know, you try your best to analyze what a meta is, pin the meta, and, like, counter it with, like, a specific team building exercise. So we take those.